The midnight phone call. Lena was a university student who loved her quiet life. She lived in a small apartment near the campus with her cat, Whiskers. Every night, she followed the same routine: study until 10 p.m., drink a cup of chamomile tea, and read a book until she fell asleep. Her friends often joked that she lived like an old woman, but Lena didn't mind. She enjoyed her peaceful evenings. One stormy Tuesday night, everything changed. Strong winds howled outside, and rain beat against her window. Lena was reading a mystery novel in bed when suddenly, her phone rang. The loud ringing surprised her. Who would call at midnight? She picked up her phone and saw unknown number on the screen. "Hello," she said cautiously. A woman's voice, shaking with emotion, answered. "Is this Clara? Please, I need your help." Lena felt confused. "I think you have the wrong number. This is Lena." There was a pause, then the woman started crying. "But, this is Clara's number." "Are you sure you're not Clara?" "I'm sure," Lena said gently. "My number is 555-0184. You must have dialed wrong." The woman sobbed. "I'm so sorry. It's just, I'm at the hospital. My brother had an accident. I'm all alone here and I'm scared." Lena's heart went out to the stranger. "Which hospital are you at?" "City General Hospital," the woman whispered. "My name is Sarah." Against her better judgment, Lena found herself saying, "I can stay on the phone with you if you want. I live nearby." Sarah gratefully accepted the offer. For the next hour, Lena listened as Sarah talked about her brother Mark, how they had moved to the city 6 months ago, and how Mark was her only family. Lena shared stories about her own life too, about university, her cat, her dream of becoming a writer. The two strangers connected in that midnight conversation, finding comfort in each other's voices. When Sarah's brother woke up and doctors came to check on him, Sarah thanked Lena profusely before hanging up. "Thank you for being my midnight angel," she said. The next morning, Lena thought about the strange phone call. She almost convinced herself it had been a dream. But then her phone buzzed with a text message from an unknown number. "Thank you again for last night. Mark is doing better. Sarah." Lena smiled and saved the number as Midnight Sarah. Over the next week, they continued texting. Sarah sent updates about Mark's recovery, and Lena shared stories about her classes. They discovered they both loved Italian food and old movies. On Friday, Sarah texted, "Mark is being discharged tomorrow. Would you like to meet us for coffee? I'd love to thank you properly." Lena hesitated. Meeting strangers from midnight phone calls wasn't something she normally did. But something about Sarah felt genuine. After thinking for a while, she agreed to meet at a cafe near the hospital. The next afternoon, Lena arrived at the Sunshine Cafe 10 minutes early. She chose a table by the window and nervously played with her coffee cup. What if Sarah wasn't who she said she was? What if this was a bad idea? At exactly 2 p.m., a woman in her late 20s entered the cafe, pushing a young man in a wheelchair. The woman had kind eyes and a warm smile. She approached Lena's table. "Lena," she asked. When Lena nodded, Sarah's smile widened. "I'm so happy to meet you. This is my brother, Mark." Mark, who had his leg in a cast, grinned. "So you're the famous Midnight Angel. Sarah hasn't stopped talking about you." As they drank coffee and ate pastries, Lena felt completely at ease. Sarah and Mark were exactly as she had imagined: warm, funny, and kind. They talked for 2 hours, sharing stories and laughing like old friends. Would you like to come to our apartment for dinner next week? Sarah asked as they prepared to leave. I make amazing lasagna. Lena accepted without hesitation. As she walked home, she felt lighter than she had in months. Her quiet life had suddenly become much more interesting. The following Wednesday, Lena went to Sarah and Mark's apartment for dinner. The delicious smell of garlic and tomatoes welcomed her at the door. Sarah gave her a hug, and Mark waved from the sofa where he was resting his injured leg. During dinner, they talked about their lives. Sarah worked as a graphic designer, and Mark was studying architecture. They had moved to the city after their parents passed away in a car accident 2 years earlier. It was difficult at first, Sarah admitted. But we're making a home here. After dessert, Sarah brought out a photo album. These are pictures from our childhood, she said, sitting next to Lena on the sofa. As Lena turned the pages, she saw photos of Sarah and Mark growing up. There were birthday parties, family vacations, school events. Then she stopped at a particular photo. It showed a family of 4, Sarah and Mark with their parents at the beach. But what made Lena's blood run cold was the woman standing next to their mother. It was her Aunt Clara, the same aunt who had disappeared mysteriously 5 years ago. Lena's hands trembled. Sarah, she said quietly. Who is this woman? Sarah looked at the photo. That's Aunt Clara, our mother's best friend. Why? Do you know her? My aunt is named Clara, Lena whispered. She disappeared 5 years ago. We haven't heard from her since. Mark sat up straight. What's your last name, Lena? Thompson, she answered. Sarah and Mark exchanged shocked looks. Our Aunt Clara's last name was Thompson too, Mark said slowly. She told us she had no family. The room fell silent as they realized the connection. Lena's missing aunt was the same Clara that Sarah had tried to call that stormy night. But why would she say she had no family? Lena wondered aloud, her eyes filling with tears. We looked for her everywhere. Sarah took Lena's hand. Maybe we can help you find answers. Clara was like family to us. She helped us after our parents died. Over the next few weeks, the 3 of them pieced together the puzzle. They discovered that Clara had been suffering from depression after a painful divorce. She had cut ties with everyone and started a new life, believing her family would be better off without her. One evening, Sarah found an old address book in Clara's belongings. There, under emergency contacts, was Lena's number with a note, my niece a call if anything happens to me. That's why I called your number that night, Sarah realized. Clara had told me to call her if I ever needed help. I didn't know she had written down your number as a backup. Lena felt a mix of emotions, sadness for her aunt's suffering, but also hope. Now they knew Clara was alive. Should we try to contact her? Mark asked gently. Lena thought for a long moment. Not yet. She left because she needed space. But now I know she's safe, and that she has people who care about her. That's enough for now. The midnight phone call had brought more than just new friends into Lena's life, it had brought closure about her aunt and a new extended family. Sarah and Mark became like the siblings she never had. They spent holidays together, supported each other through difficult times, and created new memories. Sometimes, late at night, Lena would look at the photo of Clara and smile. The mysterious midnight call had connected broken pieces of lives and healed old wounds in ways nobody could have predicted. And though her life was no longer as quiet as before, Lena found that sometimes, The most beautiful melodies come from unexpected harmonies.